In our series on the new normal, we'll take a look at how the pandemic is dramatically changing our everyday lives. Airports and airlines expect the 4th of July holiday weekend to be the busiest travel day since mid-March. But passenger traffic at about 626,000 people on Wednesday is still a fraction of what it was. It's down about 75% from last year. Whoa. So if you're planning to fly, it's going to look a whole lot different. Kris Van Cleave is at Reagan National Airport outside Washington with more on that part of the story. Kris, can't wait to hear what you have to say. Good morning to you.
Well, good morning, Gayle. I'm sure you found your flying experience to be different. We sure did. Take a look around here. This is what a busy travel day looks like now in the age of coronavirus. Still, millions of people are going to travel for the 4th of July. Hundreds of thousands will do it by air. And, we went on our first work trip in nearly 4 months, and even from the point we started packing, it was different. You're grabbing hand sanitizer and masks, gloves, even safety glasses.
First flight since March. Starts with a temperature check.
And before checking in, I had to certify I didn't have a fever or any other COVID symptoms. At the airport, it's plexiglass barriers and reminders to keep your distance, flyers and masks and face shields. Many stores and restaurants remain closed. TSA looks different too.
Face covering while on board.
I just want to be extra cautious.
Wearing gloves and carrying wipes, we met Dana Kaufman at the gate, flying to Chicago to see her parents.
Finally get to see them since I haven't seen them during the coronavirus pandemic.
Before we got on, the plane was cleaned using an electrostatic fogger like this to quickly disinfect the cabin between flights.
Good morning.
Boarding was done back to front. Flight attendants greeting you with sanitizing wipes. I brought my own to wipe down the area around my seat.
No question, flying is different. Here we are at the start of the 4th of July holiday weekend, and there are dozens of empty seats on this plane.
We were struck by how quiet the flight was. Everyone wore masks as required, but United confirms it has banned a handful of flyers for refusing to comply with the mask mandate. In-flight service is limited. Snack bags and bottles of water.
We try to eliminate anything that would pass germs, basically.
Our cabin crew all on the job for at least 20 years.
What's the biggest thing you noticed that's changed about flying since the pandemic?
The reduction in passengers. The biggest change is people have been more cautious about their safety. And so I think that's very important for all of us.
There's no one here.
Yeah, this is the other thing that people are going to notice when they're traveling, is it's not just that people are wearing masks, it's that there aren't that many people.
Not even at one of the country's busiest airports at 9:45 in the morning. We met United's Chief Communications Officer, Josh Ernest, at Chicago O'Hare.
What are you expecting for 4th of July?
We are expecting an increase, that we have seen leisure travel begin to come back. We're also seeing quite a bit of travel of people wanting to go visit friends and family. It's also people who are enticed by many of the attractive fares that are out there.
There's a growing divide over blocking middle seats. Delta, Southwest, and JetBlue are limiting capacity. American and United are not. Delta's CEO telling employees in a letter Thursday, limiting capacity makes a real difference in keeping travelers and our people safe on board.
Look, when our competitors talk about blocking middle seats, they're talking about a PR strategy, not a safety strategy. A safety strategy is one that's focused on wearing masks and requiring people to wear them correctly.
United also points to its cleaning and the onboard HEPA filters as part of that safety strategy. There are no regulations mandating social distancing for airlines, so every carrier is doing it differently. United does notify flyers if their flight is 70% full or more, allowing them to make a change without a fee. United says only about 2% of flyers make that change. Gayle?
Kris, I find the question interesting, PR strategy versus safety strategy. I think psychologically, even if it's a PR strategy, it may be more comforting to people. What are you hearing about that in your own flying experience?
Well, I think there are two things that are going on here. I think our definition of what a full plane is has changed. The plane might have 20 or 30 empty seats, but be 85% full, and 85% seems like a lot of people on a 737. That's still 140 people. So that's there. I think because every airline has a different policy, it creates confusion, so people getting on don't necessarily know what to expect. And you've had some carriers that have, only blocked a small portion of seats, and that's led to confusion. It's really coming down to how airlines airlines are selling themselves. They're selling themselves around safety and spacing. And will people pay extra? Will they pay a premium not to have somebody in that middle seat? That's the question now.
Yeah, I know people used to do eye rolls when people would come on in hazmat suits and masks. Now people are asking, where do I get one of those? Thank you, Kris. It was good to see Josh Ernst, too. Really good to see him. Thank you, Kris Van Cleave.